It's primarily remembered for Vince and Shane McMahon versus Shawn Michaels and God. What about the rest of the show?
Damn siege.
Is that any good? And welcome to this. It's another episode of your favourite series, and of course it is mine. It's 10 years ago, and tonight, as you can tell by the title below, we're going to be looking at Backlash 2006. Oh yes. Now, before we go on, please, if you haven't already, look in the description box below and check out my Twitter and my Facebook page. I'll tell you for why. Because every episode of 10 years ago that has gone online since we started doing these again has gone online one day early on both Twitter and my Facebook feed. So if you want to see those videos before anyone else, you need to be following me on Twitter, man. You need to be looking at the Mark Pearson Wrestling Reviews Facebook page. They go there on the Friday, and the main video is released to the public on the Saturday, okay? So it's nice and simple. If you want to see them before anyone else, you know, you need to be on those. So with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 30th of April 2006, and we are live at the Rupp Arena, that sounds fake, in Lexington, Kentucky for the 8th edition of Backlash. 14,000 fans on hand in an arena that can hold about 23,000, so not a sellout. And with those fans, though, they got to see the absolute dream match. There's Goldust defeating Rob Conway in a jaw-dropping 3 minutes 38. Theme tune for this song, theme tune for this show is a track called Baby Hates Me by some band called Danko Jones. Can't say I've heard of them. Interestingly, this show drew 220,000 buys, so not really many people have seen this one, I'm guessing so. In our opening contest tonight, Carlito defeated Chris Masters. Now, I'm sure you remember that these two were tag team partners for quite a while, teaming together to take on Big Show and Kane at WrestleMania. What's happened? What could happen? So they lost at Mania, and then on Raw, Carlito turned on Masters. So does that mean that Carlito's the heel here, or Chris Masters is the heel? I'm confused. Carlito comes out and he's wearing that t-shirt of his that says, "Do you spit or swallow?" on it, and it's like, Christ, that's bloody awful, isn't it? There are t-shirts out there, in fact there are many t-shirts out there, aren't there, that you just like, as a wrestling fan, you'd be embarrassed to wear around your mates. Yeah, that's one. That's one. It really is. So, as I say, I'm a bit confused here because if your partner turns on you, as a rule, you're the babyface. But Masters is such a cocky, arrogant guy, you can't possibly cheer for him. Corey, can you? It doesn't. Yeah, so you start going, which one's heel, which one's face? It doesn't help because it doesn't help that Masters starts on the offense by using Carlito's terrible t-shirt to choke on Triple C. But then when Triple C gets offense, the fans cheer him. They go mental, in fact, when he puts on a full Nelson. So, yeah, so Carlito's the face. Even though he turned on Masters, he's the good guy here. Anyway. Carlito controls for moments, including a nice dive to the outside. Masters takes control with a buckle bomb, and the fans start to tell him that he sucks. His offense is basic, to put it nicely. So it's a neck wrench and a neck breaker, and then dropping Carlito face first onto the turnbuckles. But at the end of the day, bear in mind his finishing move is a full Nelson. That's softening up the neck, so no issues with that at all. Carlito appears to be doing everything in his power in this match to make Chris Masters look good. For example, he counters the Master Lock into a roll-up. When Masters kicks out, Carlito sells the neck as he gets up. That is a lovely little touch that I'm not going to lie to you guys, I wasn't expecting from into this. I came into this match going, couldn't care less. Truly could not care less. Anyway, touches like that, I love. You know I love psychology, I love storytelling, and simple little touches where you kick out of roll-up, and as you get up, you just go, oh, my neck's playing up. It's so effortless. And of course, I shouldn't be marking out for this because it should be like this in every match ever, shouldn't it? but it just isn't. Anyway, Carlito does a springboard elbow. It connects nicely. When he gets up, sells the neck. Absolutely fantastic. He puts on a top rope. Masters picks up Carlito and puts him on the top rope at one point. He knocks Masters off, quickly sells the neck before he hits the moonsault. This is lovely, really good. This is a side of Carlito that, like I said, I just haven't seen before, and it's brilliant. And it's like, well, if you can keep going like this in the future, I'll be loving you, Carlito. Anyway, I'm loving it. Love the match right up to the finish, where twice Masters attempts to get the master lock on. Carlito hits the backstabber. He gets the win. Right? What's wrong with that? I hear you, Carlito. But he gets the win with his feet on the ropes, and it's like. Nope, it's not like you've hit all of your moves and Masters are kicked out of them, so you've got like a desperation pin. He just hit the backstabber and still cheats to win, and that felt cheap to me. It's not, not desperation. Match is 50-50. They both got 50-50 offensive. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but well. The majority of the match, though, I really, really enjoyed. I know it's all on Carlito. Masters did bugger all to make me appreciate him anymore, but Carlito was selling so nicely. I was like, yeah, I like that. Very cool. In the back, Maria throws to a bunch of fucking wrestling fans, mouth breathers, some might call them. I detest wrestling fans in all of their forms when they do things like this, because they cut to wrestling fans and we discuss who's going to win tonight's main event, a triple threat match between John Cena, Triple H and Edge. So what do the wrestling fans do? Well, you know what they do. They tell you who's going to win because of their catchphrase. So Triple H is going to win because he's that damn good. Shit like that I just feckin' hate. It's bloody awful. Anyway, then Maria talks to Lita. She's not happy that people are calling her a hoe, and she says that she's kept her mouth shut for too long. Maria gets a chuckle when she says that Maria makes me chuckle when she says that she's heard that Lita likes to keep her mouth wide open. Lita says that when Edge wins tonight, they will have a private sex celebration because unlike all of these people, she gets them. Effective. Got massive heel heat though for it, so yeah, why not? Then our second contest is Umaga defeating Ric Flair. The pay-per-view debut of Umaga, or technically the re-pay-per-view debut. Because of course he was once part of 3 Minute Warning, was he not? He was Jamal, but now he's a savage who can Now, though, he's a savage who can only be handled by his manager, Armando Alejandro Estrada. The scary stat is, a scary stat for you is that Umaga died in 2009. He was 36 years old, and that's the same age I am. That's a scary thought, isn't it? Anyway, Umaga had attacked Flair, so Flair wants revenge. I'd forgotten Estrada's intro. Everybody listen, haha, to me, love it. I was like, yes, that was really good at the time. This match lasts 4 minutes, so you can imagine how good it is. Flair gets offense in when he outsmarts Umaga though, and that's a nice little story, is that Umaga's a savage and he's stupid. So Flair can outsmart him, but he only gets minimal offense in. He gets like a chop. He gets a low blow. Umaga dominates though, hitting a cannonball, a diving headbutt, and finishing with a Samoan spike at 3 minutes 30. If their mission was to get Umaga over as a killer, it worked beautifully here. Trust me on that one. In the back, Vince McMahon, who of course is still a proud card-carrying member of the Drake Young Italian School, is showing off the guns when Shane McMahon comes in. And they come in and they talk about the upcoming match against Shawn Michaels and God. This segment is fucking brilliant. Truly it is. As Vince says that Shane can take out Shawn Michaels, but he should leave God to the boss. In fact, to prove his point, he can do anything that God can do. So he pours some water on the ground, then walks on it, because he can walk on water. Now that was Jesus, not God, but that's nitpicking 101, isn't it? He then takes a loaf and a fish. He then throws them away and says, now! And loads of fucking loaves and fishes are thrown at him. It's fucking heck, it's so fucking stupid. So over the top that it's funny. Truly it is. And it's a sign, he says. It's a sign. He picks up one of the bloody fishes and says, holy mackerel. Fucking brilliant. Then he leaves, okay? And there's one little bit. So Shane Shane had been sat there swinging water the whole time. You know, when the camera cuts, when the camera cuts to Vince, he says, "Holy mackerel," and then goes to leave. When he comes back, Shane goes to take a sip out of his water bottle, and the water's turned into wine. And it's just like, this is so stupid, but so wonderful. Seriously, only someone who is massively religious could be offended by any of this. I remember at the time thinking, this is so fucking stupid. But 13 years removed from it, I just think it's so over the top. It's so campy and wonderful, and it's fucking wrestling. So you can't be cross about it, because it's wrestling. If you do, I can turn it off. It's one of those. It's just so funny. It really is. Oh, dear me. Next up, Mickie James defeated Trish Stratus to retain the Women's Championship. As we know, Mickie had beaten Trish at WrestleMania to win the championship, and this is the rematch. The match graphics, which are on your screen right now, are weird to say the least, because it looks like they've swapped costumes with each other, shall we say. Mickie comes out first because she's the champion, because why the fuck not? How's that sound? So this one does not last long at all. So Trish dominates the match, doing her Matrix move into a head scissors, which was really good. Stiff kick to the face, Thez press to the outside. She goes for the 10 punches in the corner, but Mickie knocks her to the outside, and you know the way that she lands, Trish Trish, the way that Trish lands, something's not right. You know, the way she is holding her shoulder, and it turns out that actually she dislocated her left shoulder. So Mickie stalls for time doing covers while they think of a new finish. She gets a belt and chokes Trish with it, and the referee counts her to 5 and disqualifies her. I'm going to guess that there was a hell of a lot more to this one than that one. But unfortunately, it looks like a squash. Because of the injury and the way that Trish had been so dominant up until that point, this one actually looks like a squash. But you can't blame them if she's got a legitimate injury, something as serious as that. You know, she can't continue. In the back, Maria talks to Shawn Michaels. He runs down Vince, ending it saying that Lexington has 2 words for you, and the fans chant "suck it." This is interesting. I don't think I mentioned it on my WrestleMania 22 review, but Shawn had done the crotch chop before he jumped off the ladder onto the trash can. I'm sure that is a minor little thing, with 2 DX references in 1 month. Very odd. I wonder where that's going to go. Please don't comment, please. I know where it goes. I'm just trying to be funny. Next, RVD defeated Shelton Benjamin to win the IC title. No, I'm just go back. I'm being oblivious because that's how they played it on screen. It was just one of those, why has he just done the DX move? You know, I know. They come back later on in the year, I know. Next, RVD defeated Shelton Benjamin to win the Intercontinental Championship. This is title versus briefcase. Shelton Benjamin holds the Intercontinental Championship, as we know. And of course, RVD won the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 22. 22? Why me? Shelton beat Ric Flair to win the Intercontinental Championship back in February. Real nice chain wrestling and counters for the first few minutes. RVD is busted open above the eye from a slap. How hard that slap was. Benjamin heals up by bailing out of the ring anytime anytime RVD does anything. Shelton Benjamin bails. So RVD hits a dive on him. Benjamin responds with a sunset flip over the ropes into a powerbomb on the outside. There's a picture of it there, and it looks so nasty. Also, what the fuck is that sign in the background? Shelton takes control, including a camel clutch, a nice backbreaker, and a chinlock. He goes for a T-bone suplex, but RVD elbows out of it. He goes for the Rolling Thunder, but Benjamin grabs him mid-air and gets 2 off a sweet Samoan drop. And trust me, that spot, it was as good as it sounds. RVD goes up top. Benjamin gets a pop-up superplex for 2. He knows he's on a roll, so puts on a body scissors. Oh yes, because the chinlock before, not quite enough. RVD escapes and gets a corner kick, a flying kick, a spin kick, and a rolling thunder for 2. And as does a split-legged moonsault. People wonder why I don't like RVD. His offense is always exactly the same. It's boring. A monkey flip is countered, so Rob hits a spin kick, but a 5-star frog splash misses. DDT gets 2 for Shelton. He goes up top, tries a crossbody. RVD rolls through for 2. He gets a nice Hurricane Rana, but Shelton uses a desperation measures. The referee gets the most piss-poor shove I've ever seen, enabling Shelton to try and use the briefcase as a weapon. RVD counters and kicks it into Shelton Benjamin's face, and then hits the 5-star win and then hits the 5-star for the win and all of the proverbial marbles at 18 minutes and 35 seconds. I'm not the biggest of fans of RVD, but I like this match. It started slowly and Shelton's heat was, bear in mind, he was just doing chin locks all the time, but he was bailing, things like that. Basic stuff, but it was really, really effective. Some good counters, the crowd were invested in it, and it's all good. Next, though, Big Show versus Kane happened. Oh yes, these guys were tag team champions at Mania. The 4 guys in the tag team title match at WrestleMania are all now feuding. The fuck? They lost to the Spirit Squad. Believe it or not, they lost the tag team championship to the Spirit Squad, who now defend them under the Freebirds rules. So all 5 of them are champions. They did the thing, I can't for the life of me remember what it's called now. But anyway, all 5 of them launched the guys up into the air. That looked great, by the way, on Big Show. And then you realise that the whole thing is because of May 19th. Oh yeah, let that one sink in for a second, guys, boys and girls. Yeah, May 19th. The whole reason for this feud, the whole reason for this match, May 19th. Kane can hear a voice saying May 19th. And this makes him snap and attack Show. He goes to attack Lillian Garcia out of the ring one time. But Show tries to calm him down. Kane says, don't say May 19th, or else. So of course Big Show says May 19th. Obviously. They brawl, Kane injures Show's eye, and so we have this match. Now, before we go on, for those of you who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, or can't remember what it was all about, May 19th is the release date of Kane's movie, a horror film called See No Evil. If anyone's wondering, it's called, it stars Kane as a character called Jacob Goodnight. I haven't seen it. I have no interest in seeing that film whatsoever. Oh, God. Anyway, so, remember the payoff to this storyline. We'll cover it, trust me we will, because it happens on pay-per-view, but fuck. Slow plodding and played to almost silence. May 19th, bitch! Screamed one fan. 3 girls sat behind the commentator's desk, chant for Big Show a lot. They must be right behind Jim Ross and King, because the noise they're making is really noticeable. Because the crowd are so silent is why it's so noticeable. Anyway, the match plods on. The lights go out. Red light bathes the arena, and Kane's voice can be heard over the speaker saying, May 19th, it's happening again. You can't control it. May 19th, it's happening again. You can't control it. May 19th, you can't stop it. Over and over and over and over and over again. And Kane is freaking out. Make it stop! Make it stop! Make it stop! So Show, because he's a nice guy, decides to help his friend out and bashes him in the chair to knock him out. He leaves. We have a no contest. Bashes him in the head with the chair. That knocks Kane out, so he can't hear the voices anymore. And that's a DQ. No, so it's not a DQ, obviously, because why would it be? He leaves. Yeah, no, it's fucking atrocious. But here's the crazy thing, memorable. Because you remember the May 19th stuff, don't you? So, bear in mind, these two have had lots of matches over the time that they've both been in the Fed, most of which are completely forgettable. This one is memorable, so it can't be that bad, can it? I mean, it can be that bad, but it can't be that bad, you know what I mean? In the back, Candice Michelle has a cough, and she asks Vince to lay his healing hands on her. He lays his hands on his head, but she says lower and lower and lower until he's touching her breasts. And then she acts like she's having an orgasm, but Shane interrupts and drags Vince away, and Vince is like, damn it. Ridiculous. Next, speaking of ridiculous, Vince and Shane defeating Shawn Michaels and God. Shawn Michaels beat Vince at WrestleMania, but Vince believed that it was a handicap match because it was Vince versus Shawn Michaels and God. So tonight, it's a tag team match to even the odds. Yes, that's the premise of this. Now, there are bits in the build of this that are bloody wonderful, but there's one segment where Vince and Shane go to a church that words that I say cannot describe it. Please, please, please pause this video and go and watch that and then come back to me. It's just fabulous. Not so fabulous is when Vince decrees that he's forming his own religion called McMahonism, and a week later on Raw you have fans holding up converted or believer in McMahonism, believer in McMahonism signs, and it's that thing that we talked about recently on the constructing a mark where I said, you know, people do a derivative towards marks, because that's the thing. As a fan, as a SuchAMarc, whatever you want to call me these days, you watch that going, fucking marks, Jesus. Can't help but laugh when God's entrance is a spotlight moving towards the ring. Vince makes God have better music. You know, his music is some harps playing. So Vince makes God have better entrance music, something a bit more funky, which of course means Vince is fucking dancing in the ring. Fucking 5 stars immediately. I laugh even more when Vince asks the ref to check God for weapons. Fucking amazing. So good. And then, just because he can, Vince makes it a no-holds-barred match. Fucking superb. God damn. So we start with Shawn Michaels wailing on Shane. He hits a plancha on both McMahons, and then he and Shane brought up the ramp where Shane gets back body dropped and rammed into back body drops on the ramp and then rammed into the Backlash shine. Shawn Michaels then launches himself at Vince, and they both fly off the stage through what I guess is a production table. One thing that makes me laugh more than anything else, or entertains me about this, more than anything else on this show, is some guy has left his fucking lunch on the production table. Look, it's there. Look, right there. There's his fucking lunch. Superb. Why is that still there? Shane doesn't like this at all. Smashes, not the move, not the lunch. Shane doesn't like this at all. Smashes a chair into Shane's face, busting him open. This means the man's can take control, throwing Shawn into a ring post. Shane misses an elbow drop, but connects with a DDT. In comes Vince, who uses his belt and then and a trash can, then cuts a promo in the middle of the ring on God. He says that God has walked out, so it's now just a count. He wants to shoot Sweet Chin music on Shawn, but this makes Shawn Michaels mad. He hooks up, but as he's doing so, Shane comes in with a chair, accidentally hits Vince. Shawn takes out Shane with a flying elbow, then both McMahons with Sweet Chin music, and does the fucking crop chops. Why could that be? He doesn't cover though, and this is, once again, remember what I said about on my Mania review, he gets out tables. And the fans, bloody wrestling fans, we want tables! He's got a table in his fucking hand! You Burks! What is that all about? He puts the McMahons on the tables, gets out a ladder, but we don't see it. But the Spirit Squad must have made their way to the ring, because when Shawn Michaels is at the top of the ladder, he turns round and does a dive onto them instead of the McMahons. But, interestingly, the squad recover first, beat up Shawn, save the boss, put Shawn Michaels through the table with that ridiculous, all 5 of them chucking him up into the air thing, come crashing down through the table. 1941, Vince gets the win. I was loving this one, loving it until Shawn didn't go for the cover on the McMahons after the Sweet Chin music. It's one of those, again, the dive onto the Spirit Squad is breathtaking stuff. It looks fabulous, but it's pointless. Like, just ignore them. Just go for the cover. Oh dear me. Again, it's that feeling of, if you dislike this guy as much as you claim to do, why aren't you pinning him? You know, it's just that. But the important thing of this match is it's so ridiculously entertaining. Truly is. Vince is just magic in this match. He's so good. It's like I said a moment ago. The only way that you have to be super religious and feel legitimately in your heart that Vince is being blasphemous, okay, then I suppose you can be offended by this one. As someone who doesn't give a flying fuck about religion in any way, shape or form, I just think it's funny. I just think it's entertaining. It's comical. It's great. In the back, Todd Grisham talks to John Cena. He gives observation of the year so far, where he says, some people like you and some people don't. And Cena's just like, yeah, well done for watching the programme, idiot. Cena says he'll win tonight. And then, now, you know, on the network, if it's got the bullet points, like, between the matches. Okay, so I know right now there's one match left. There's just the main event. There's a 10-minute block before the start of the triple threat. And it's one of those, okay, what happens next? Out comes Matt Striker. He's your teacher. And to tell us, you know, how bad Kentucky is and how illiterate they are and how ugly they are. And yeah, the usual heat-getting methods. He runs down Kentucky, like I say, and then brings out Eugene, who is from Kentucky, apparently. I can't be asked to check. He asks Eugene to write his name. Having written Matt Striker on the board, Eugene writes, loves poop, underneath. Yeah, you like that, don't you? Matt Striker loves poop. He then picks his nose. You know, notice I'm not going up. He picks his nose and he looks at this great big boogie that he's got on his fucking. He's got this great big bogey on his finger, and he and then puts it into Matt Striker's mouth. This segment takes 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and it's just this is before the network, so you had to pay for this shit and lots of money for it, and you just go, why can't we just have another match? It may, a thought that isn't on my notes but has just occurred to me could be that they're doing this because of what happened with Mickey and Trish. Could be, but you know, it's still awful. And in our main event, John Cena defeats Triple H and Edge in a really good triple threat match to retain the WWE Championship. As we know, Cena beat Triple H via submission, of all things, at WrestleMania 22. And Edge beat Mick Foley, so he believes he deserves a title shot. Triple H says, I want another title shot. And Cena's like, yeah, fuck it, you can both have. They've all beaten each other instantly in the build-up to this. Like, Edge has beaten Triple H, for example. So, Edge, I really love this first bit. Edge bails so that Triple H and Cena can go it. Cena hits 2 flying shoulders and a fisherman suplex for 2 as Edge breaks the count. They have a slugfest until Triple H can get the high knee. That gets 2 as, again, Edge pulls him out. So, they have a third slugfest, and Edge is like mime long, so every punch that goes down, he's like, and he's loving life because they're watching these two beat each other up. And of course, they notice him, bring him into the ring, and basically pinball him, which is where he's in between, getting punched in between. Fantastic. They then, because they're mad at Edge, they take him to the outside and basically try and one-upmanship with each other between Triple H and Cena by ramming Edge's head into the announce table. That's brilliant as well. Inside, Triple H is knocked to the apron. He grabs Edge's head, but then Cena pulls Triple H's legs out from under him. So Edge's neck goes into the ropes and Triple H's face goes into the apron. Brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Cena then hits a splash of all things on Edge for 2. Triple H gets a facebuster on Edge and a clothesline for 2. Edge wants the spear, but Hunter gets ready for it, the quad-ripping spinebuster of doom! Love it. He tries a suplex, but Edge counters into a rear DDT for 2. Hunter gets a main event sleeper. Edge counters into one of his own, but Cena comes along and picks them fucking both up onto his shoulders. Jesus, the strength of this man is ridiculous. He wants the FU. Edge escapes though, hits Cena with the spear, but Cena's still got Hunter on his back, so he basically, as he gets speared, he hits a Samoan drop onto Hunter. Fabulous. That's a really good looking sequence. Edge and Hunter go outside. Hunter is knocked over, and as he's lying on the ground, you notice he blazes himself twice. He's then slingshotted into the ring post, and of course, the next time the camera's onto him, yeah, bleh, 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 blood everywhere. Edge preps the Spanish announce table and hits the what's his DDT called? The Impaler. Yeah, well done. Sorry, I've just written on my notes. Hits the DDT, but I remembered it a moment ago. It has a name. He hits the Impaler DVT. It's all good and all bad in one fucking moment. I'll leave that one in. But the table doesn't break, and there's fucking blood everywhere, all over the table. Inside, Edge gets a dropkick for 2 and then a spear in the corner, but walks into the STFU. Triple H. Oh, I hope they might pick that up. Did you hear that? Bugging me. Where was I? Inside, Edge gets a dropkick for 2, then a spear in the corner, but walks into the STFU. Triple H wants a super FU on Edge. But Hunter gets up and hits an electric chair drop on Cena, so both he and Edge go flying. And then Lita gets inside the ring. She's got a chair. She charges at Hunter, but Hunter spots her and hits her with a quad-ripping spinebuster of doom! 2 in 1 fucking match, folks. Get the fuck in. I lost my shit. Hunter gets the chair, chooses not to use it. Instead, he wants his motherfucking limit. Hunter gets the chair, chooses not to use it. Instead, he gets his limmer out, but he hits a spear from Edge. Edge gets the hammer, goes to use it, but Cena counters. He wants the FU. Hunter goes low. He wants a pedigree, but Cena does a jackknife and covers him and gets the fucking win at 17 minutes. Hunter then takes out both Cena and Edge, and the whole of the last bit of the last, what, minute and a half, 2 minutes of the show is just Hunter celebrating like he's won the fucking belt because he's the last man standing. I really, really enjoyed this match. Great sequences. Hunter's blood loss elevated the match for me, even though, yeah, it's one of those, this makes no sense. Hunter used to bleed all the time, but bleeding is a babyface thing because you've lost so much blood, but you've overcome the odds, haven't you? But hell, I don't care about that too much. Great crowd, decent length, really, really, really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed this show. Watched it in one sitting, which is very rare for me because I'm so busy, but it was just like, things happen, and I was just like, okay, let's just keep going, let's keep going. It's not their fault, so you can't say anything about the women's match. Yeah, if someone suffers an injury, the match stops. Or they did their best to come up with a better finish. Kane versus Big Show is bollocks, but it's memorable bollocks, so we'll give him a pass on that one. Opener was good. Oh, in fact, the opener was better than in my wildest dreams, never thought I'd be able to say I enjoyed a Chris Masters match, okay? And I did. Nothing to do with Chris Masters, but I enjoyed the match. Umaga looked great against Ric Flair. Shelton versus RVD was really good. The main was really good. And Over the Top Vince is bloody priceless. I think, honest to God, we have got ourselves a forgotten classic here. I really fucking do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to go 8 out of 10 on this one. I think the good far outweighs the bad, and I thoroughly enjoyed and thoroughly recommend this show. So, ladies and gentlemen, next up in the 10 Years Ago series, we're going to be looking at Judgment Day 2006 from SmackDown. I thoroughly hope you've enjoyed this video. I have had an absolute blast making it. And yeah, as I said at the very start, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications button, and so you get my, I don't know about you guys, I get a text message, or a little pop-up on my phone if someone I'm subscribed to's video goes live. Now, if you've got that, from me, happy days. If you follow me on Twitter or on Facebook, you get the video a day early. That's a fucking, you can't go wrong with that, can you? Friday night, watching me talking bollocks about wrestling, laughing me. What else have I got to say? Leave me a comment down below if you haven't already. I always love reading your stuff. I have been Mark Pearson. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you very much for enjoying and watching these videos. Please share them around. That'd be nice. I'd really like that. It'd be nice to see if there's this guy I like watching on YouTube. Share it about. It'd be good. Okay, I'm rambling now, and I've rambled on for far too long. I've been Mark P. As I say, thank you so much for watching. Take it easy and goodbye. I paid for this show. Think about that. Oh, hang on. Did you hear another dog? Oh, again. Woof. 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 Woof, woof, woof. You're Herbert, you know that. Herbert. Shush now. I'm trying to talk to these people. Stop it. Don't lie down. Go on. Don't lie down or I'll lock you out. This segment takes 10